Hello everybody, some old man. Today I'm in the kitchen. I'm working on a project that has been on my back burner for the last year and a half. Let me zoom in on what I'm working on, the workspace, and let you see as I describe what the problem is. This is the cabinet under the sink of the kitchen. As you can see, it looks pretty bad right now. What happened a year and a half ago? We had been using this space, as most people will, to store things, primarily cleaning solutions and things like that. Well, more and more of it built up over the years, and finally, like I say, a year and a half ago, we had just one too many items that broke this camel's back, and it actually cracked the plywood that created the platform that everything sat on. At that point, all the cleaning supplies were taken out and stacked elsewhere, and I thought about it for a while before moving on to try to fix it. First thing, of course, is removing all of the existing support structure, plywood and bracing and such, and I've just completed that here in the last week or so. This morning, before taking this camera picture, I was in here with a vacuum cleaner and a mop to vacuum up any loose debris and mop up any dust and everything else. This is about as clean as it's going to get. What you see in there on the left side, you can see the the garbage disposal coming down, and there are various pipes coming down there behind to service the water faucet. In the front on the right, you can see the power lines coming down, and there is a plug there which is kind of disassembled at the moment to plug the garbage disposal in, and underneath the plug you can see a rectangular box of metal. That is a heat register that is actually installed there in the center aisle. So with all these things in the way there, I've got to work around, build a new platform, and box in all the pieces so that I can actually go ahead and use this space for storage again, as opposed to just dead space. So we're going to go ahead and work on that. I'm not going to finish it today. I probably won't even finish the job this weekend, because I'm sure that I'll have to go to the hardware store or the lumber yard or somewhere to get material that I'm not going to have on hand. But we'll just go ahead and work it away and show you as I go. Some old man. And of course you can see here that the disposal is turned off before we start work. Well, a few saw cuts on a handy 2x6 that was laying around from another project, and we've got the beginnings of this little thing. I'm kind of going overkill on this one. I could have just gone ahead and put the two 2x4s on the left and right there on the left side of the picture, but I was thinking that might not be enough support. I've got some half-inch plywood out there. By putting that third support in the middle, there's no way that any load that I'm likely to put on there is going to cause a problem. So what I'll be doing is measuring and cutting that plywood to fit in that space. I fortunately have one that's a little larger, and I've got several that are somewhat narrower, so we're going to make it work. Over on the left side where the heat register and the electrical is, I've got to do something a little bit clever. The depth of my support there needs to be 2.5 inches. So obviously a 2 by anything could not just lay on the register and cause it to work. It's going to have to be cut along its length. Now the ones I put in there right now, 2 by 6, were perfect, and that matched up with the trim along the front of the cabinet, so obviously that's what they used to build the thing. So I'm just going to lay the plywood over the edge of the cabinet as well, and it'll look nice. On the left, I'm going to have to go ahead and trim something so it will match as well. And then when I get ready to put the plywood on that side, I'm going to have to notch it at the back where the extra pipes are coming down from above, so that I can just kind of slip them in. As far as the electrical cables coming down from on the right, I will just go ahead and cause a big notch there as well, so that the electrical can go down underneath. Now, as far as that electrical box where the plug is plugged into, that's going to take a little bit of thought, because the way that it was mounted on the old piece of plywood, or particle board is what it actually was. One of the reasons it broke is that it was just screwed to the particle board on top. I may do that again, or I may go get a new box and have it fit down on the plywood like you would with a regular outlet in the wall, so that the exposed face is flush with the plywood. I'll think about that one for a little bit before I actually do it. Right now, I'm just going to sit and ponder and think about how I'm going to cut this next support on the register box. Along the far right wall, there's a little bit of room there that I can go ahead and put in there the 2x, not the full width of the cabinet, but enough to make it work. Along the back wall, next to where those pipes are, and maybe right behind them, I need to put some more 2x or 1x6, or maybe even something a little smaller, because there is some stuff back there that I'm fighting around. But I will go ahead and get a support there along that length, so that any plywood that goes back there will have something to connect to. And what I'll do when I install this is I'll use wood screws to actually screw it down to connect it, because those boards are just sitting there right now, and I don't think I'm going to actually fasten them down. They're going to be fine once I put some plywood on them and screw them together, because it's only loading that it's going to take is vertical. So that way, if I screw it down, it'll be really easy to take back out, as opposed to nails, which would have to be pried out. So I want to make this all easy, and we have had a mouse problem in the past. And what I want to do to make the mice, or discourage the mice, is fill those gaps in there with steel wool, because steel wool will stop them, and insulation or wood will not. So we're just going to fill it with steel wool so that they will stay away, and then we'll see what happens. Some old man, off to work. And with the plywood in place but not nailed down, my intent before I actually screw it down is to go ahead and paint it white with basically waterproof paint, as you would use in a kitchen anyway, because if we have spills, and it is possible, or if not likely, we want the thing not to soak up any water or as much. So as you can see, it's coming along. I still have to go ahead and figure out how I'm going to do the other side and put it together, but it's looking a lot better than it did. Some old man. Well, I'm back. I have, since the last recording, gone ahead and made a trip to the hardware store and purchased a few items to facilitate construction of my little project. However, when I got back, I started going ahead and cutting more pieces, and I came to realize that the heat register that I'm building on top of is not a solid box. It flexes, so I'm having to rethink how I'm going to attach my plywood on above it. I'll probably have to put some additional supports crossways in front along the door, but I haven't puzzled out how I'm going to do it yet. So this project is not going to be completed today. I'm going to go ahead and revisit it tomorrow. I've got some other things planned, but we'll look at it again in the morning, and I'll probably finish this job next weekend, because I haven't even painted yet, and that's a necessary step. But I will go ahead and post some additional video when I get to it. Now, that's all I've got today, so Hope you enjoyed. Go ahead and hit the like button. Let me know that you liked it. Sign up, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. This is Some Old Man signing off.